Here is the weekly missions that you can find here. Oh, you can't find them here because I did them already. They would be in this list. Just like War Games Daily, it's in there, and it tells you what the rewards are. In order to play these ones that get you to 164 player missions, this is them. So there you have a retrieve the data, category 4, storm, evacuate the shelter, deliver the bomb, which I never do. I don't really care for deliver the bomb, and this doesn't even count as one of those either. It has to be have the purple fog there for the mission alerts. I don't know why that one's in here. It's usually in there a lot of times though. And you have a ride the lightning. Usually there's a repair the shelter in here. That's really the best mission to do. I won't talk about that too much more. Why? But here we have metal corrosion, and if you notice, they're all water. I mean, it's a water season in the higher missions. Any of the storm alerts, I think they're all water, no matter what level you're playing in. If you go to any of the alerts, I'm pretty sure they're water. The building missions, it's water. There's water and metal corrosion, right? And if you look at the modifiers for metal corrosion, it says metal corrosion, basic husk melee attacks cause metal buildings to corrode, periodically damaging them for a time. And it's not too specific, so, but I've heard a lot of arguments about this, or debates. So, so the deal is, if it's a water mission, you don't want to use brick, because brick is weak to water. Just like metal corrosion, extra damage is done by water husks to brick. And you have metal corrosion, which would suggest that maybe you shouldn't use metal because that'll take extra damage as well. But it's only, in both cases, the brick being weak to water and the metal corrosion, it's only when they're melee attacking the building, only when the basic husks come up to the building and they're like hitting it with their arms and trying to break it. That's when that extra damage is done. So most players seem to think it's still best to just use the metal, because it's the strongest material. All right, so I'm going to show my Constructor build that I like to use specifically for this mission, because this is harder. The spawn is definitely harder in here than repair the shelter. Each of these biomes is harder too. Definitely Thunder Route 99 and Desert are harder than Lakeside or Autumn Foothills. So the best thing you can hope for here is to get a repair the shelter in either here or here. And lately this hasn't been too bad. The spawn is light, although it's usually in a tough spot, like right underneath a hill or in a hole, if it's repair the shelter or any mission. But these definitely, this and this definitely give a harder spawn no matter where it is than repair the shelter. Alright, so because we're water, that means we prefer to use, and let's look at it for a second. We'll look at a schematic. We're going to look at let's look at this, because I already have it, nature, because it's a water season, and when it's water you want to use nature, which is the yellow lightning bolt. So let's open this up. So upgrade. So here we can look. So there's to the left, you see my stats. This will do 9,229 damage and 13,844 headshot damage. So here you could see I could change things, but the reason you choose the nature is each elemental husk has another element, a different element that'll give you 100% damage. So, and I'm going to read this right from the companion app to Fortnite. They give it a definition of this. You can look it up on YouTube and somebody will show you stuff, but it says that for nature, if you want to do 100% of your weapon's potential damage against water enemies, which is what we have now, it's a water season, so since we have water enemies, if you want to do 100% damage, you need to use nature. Nature will do 100% damage to water. It'll do 67% damage to nature if you are versing nature husks, and it only does 25% of your weapon's potential against fire husks, so it does matter. And then so the one I have highlighted now, right, as I'm moving this around, right, so there's energy, which is different than nature. Energy, you get energy will do 75% of your weapon's potential to any husk, no matter what it is. That's the deal with energy, you know. And then you get your extra 20% damage with everything except physical. My understanding what physical is, it's good to use husks against like mist monsters or husks that are not anything that's not elemental. This will do 100% of your weapon's damage plus 44% damage against non-elemental stuff. So since it's a water season, my Nocturno is nature damage right now. All right, so now we'll go and we'll look at. Let's look at heroes. Hero loadout is where I am. So I'm going to look at base Kyle because, like I said, when I do the retrieve the data missions in the 164.4s, this is the hero I use. So we'll take a look at him. He's commander. So when you look at the hero, you see standard perk and commander perk. So since he's the commander, the main hero, you're going to get lofty architecture. Your base increases building health by 84%. So you're starting out 80% stronger walls. If he's a standard perk, just means he's in your support team. So the support team is down here. We'll get to them in a minute. And you have your team perk. So let's open him up again. And we'll scroll down, and class perks are all constructors. That's the class constructor. The other classes are ninja, soldier, outlander. So your class perk is kinetic overload. Forget that for a second. But if you look at your base that you're going to place down your constructor base, it will reinforce attached structures with 60 armor. And extends. That's just telling you how big the base is. 4 segments from where it's placed. Whatever a segment is. And armor is sketchy. I don't understand armor completely. I know it makes things stronger. You can put your hero can have armor too by using certain other heroes in your support team if that's what you're looking for your hero to have some armor. So you're combining 60 armor with the 84% building health. You can also supplement that by, if we look at our traps, schematics, trap, upgrade, inspect. So down at the bottom, let's keep going a little further. So down to this bottom perk, which you can choose a different perk. I have on these another 17% increased building health on top of what he gives, and then you could potentially have this instead. Heals building piece 4.8%. Traps have a perk like that as well. And right now I'm going with this. I have increased building health, and I'll show you why. We'll go back and now we'll look again. Let's go back, look at base Kyle, and so he's giving me my 84% building health plus another 17% plus the armor. So I have really strong walls, and so that's why I'm stacking up on the building wall health, because I also have power-based knocks, and he's going to give some healing abilities, right? As the standard perk, in the support team, he gives base healed 4%. of max health every 10 seconds, because traps have a perk like that too that I just showed you. So I'm getting my healing there, and the reason I go with just piling up the building strength is because of smashers mainly, because once you got a high powered smasher that's going to charge, you got to stop him. Hopefully, I mean, a freeze trap will stop him when he's just walking. Tar pits will damage and slow him down. Wooden floor spikes will slow him down all when he's walking, but once a smasher charges, usually nothing stops him. He'll just charge until he hits the wall. So if you have a really strong wall, he'll hit it, he'll run into it, he won't break it completely. If it's a weak wall, he's going to crash right through it. If he doesn't do that, he shouldn't be able to with this build. That'll give you a small amount of time to kill him, because then after that he's probably not going to charge again. He's just going to start swinging his arm around and breaking the wall the rest of the way. So that's why I go with that. This build is mainly to stop smashers. You know, better to stop them further out when you see them coming than have them charge. But once they charge, traps, I don't think, as far as I know, traps are not going to stop him. And I'll show you why. Because let's look at the tar pit. And let's take a close look at the tar pit. If you look at, if you look to the left, there's an arming delay. 1 second arming delay. That means it takes 1 second for this trap to activate, and I'm pretty sure, I mean, you know, you can watch close in missions, but you know, with a lot of other stuff going on, it seems like once they charge, once they're actually running, the smasher started his charge and he's running, the traps don't stop him at that point. He runs till he runs into whatever he's trying to smash into. That's just how it appears to me when I watch missions. And I think that arming delay has something to do with it. Or maybe the trap's already been triggered by something else, and there's a reload of 12 seconds. So, you know, you want to have a way to deal with the smasher. So there's other ways besides that. All right, so let's go back. So that's it. That's base Kyle. So we'll look at my other heroes. There's my team perk, supercharged traps. It increases the trap damage that are affected by base. That means the illuminated base. They're on that by 8.5% for each constructor. So that's 5 times 8.5. That's how much stronger my traps are going to be by having these constructors in here. So any traps that are placed on base are very powerful. So just to show you who they are, and you could pause it. I mean, I'll read them quick, but you could pause this and have a look at them yourself. So this is Power Base Nox. He's giving you the standard perk because he's in the support team. I already read him. Mega Base. As a standard perk, he's increasing the size of your base by one tile, I think it is. I guess that's what that is. Or maybe more. I'm not sure what one means, but in connectivity range, he makes a bigger base. Then you have Thunder Thora as the standard perk. Enemies will take 12.7 base energy damage every 5 seconds as they walk across the floors. And you can make any of these heroes your main. Like if you want her to be your commander, then you get more. You get as the enemies pass across the floor, they take 38.1 base energy damage every 5 seconds. So that's pretty good. A lot of people like to have this as their commander because this does damage to the husks as opposed to just having a strong base. So if she's your commander, you get 44 base damage for husks that melee attack the walls. And then we got Ice King. And he's a good commander as well. This will just, as a standard perk, it will slow them down. Snare just means slows them down by 15% when they come in contact with the base. As the commander, he can freeze them as well. So there we have it in my gadgets. And that's my main hero. I also have, let's see, we'll look at another while I'm at it. I have, this is what I use in Ventures, in the beginning of Ventures, because it's a real chill hero. I can put the base down to make the building a little stronger, but this is all about a build all about decoy, the hero ability decoy. So this is my main hero. She's going to increase the duration of decoy by 6 seconds. Happy holidays. Reduces your cooldown. You reduce your ability cooldowns by 40%. Stacks independently from other cooldown reduction perks. 3 heroes with 2 or more. So that's reducing your cooldown, because the goal of this build is to be able to you can keep dropping your decoy over and over again. This thing, when you throw it down, it draws all the husks over. All the monsters come and gather around it. Not smashers. I don't think it does miss monsters, but all the regular husks will gather around it, and they'll all hold still, and then they take some damage from melee in it, and also at the end it'll explode and kill a lot of them and freeze the ones that are left. And by the time all that happens, your cooldown's real fast, so you're ready to throw another decoy down as soon as the first one blows up. And what's handy about this adventures is, you got these crazy quests and ventures and challenges where you got to kill 200 husks with a melee weapon, sword, or an axe or something. So that's good. You can get them all to stand still there, and you don't actually have to kill them. You just have to do some damage to them, and then when they die, you get credit for the kill. So that's good. They all gather around this thing, and you can go over there and hit them all, hopefully, before they die, and it makes those challenges easier. So that's the idea of this, to have a good decoy. So I'll show you who's in here. Brainstorm, Saboteur Bull, all giving perks for decoy. And you can read the perks yourself. It's a standard perk. They're all giving stuff to help with decoy, like this guy. Decoy reflects 15 base damage back at enemies that melee attack it. Increase the wheels. Decreases, so more cooldown. This is important because the team perk is separate from this, but it's making the cooldown time shorter. Conqueror Magnus. Decoy deals 6 base energy every second to nearby enemies. So this is all about decoy. It's really good in the beginning of Ventures. I mean, it's a fun one. This one is fun, and you can use it anywhere. You could go try and use it in the 160s. The thing with the 160s though is the idea there is definitely when you're in these missions here, like, you have to want to build a base that's good enough to protect itself against the basic husks, just the regular husks, and the husky husks, the whole mob, the shielders, and then you got to deal with the extra stuff, which whatever you get, like usually in a mission like Retrieve the Data, you'll get some of everything. You'll get some flingers and some smashers, maybe some propane. You're always every mission gets lobbers, but you should try to kill them because they'll weaken your base too. Lobbers and flingers are a bad combination. So, but there is no repair the shelter in there. But if you get this one, like a repair the shelter in the 160s, then you get one wave of one thing. Usually, you'll get lobbers and one other thing, maybe flingers, maybe smashers, maybe propane. So you got to kill that stuff. You need to kill that stuff. You can't really rely on the traps too good. I know people argue that you can, but for me going in mission with random people, the goal is to build a base that's good enough to protect itself against the regular husks, and then you got to deal with whatever the special husk is, propane, smashers, and that's kind of the deal. What else can I say? I don't edit these. I don't script them. I just talk off the top of my head. So I probably forgot something here, right? So we talked about that. Oh yeah, I'll mention one more thing here. I'm going to can this. This is what I use in war games because it gives more trap durability. You know, your traps will have a higher number of times they can go off before they break. When they break, they just disappear completely, and where the trap was will just be an empty wall, and you got to go and put another trap down if you want it there. So yeah, this will allow them to go off 52.5% more times than they normally do. So that's war games recycling. You put your base down and you can farm building materials out of your base, which is handy. And then after that, I also run for gadgets. I run supply drop. Well, it's because, you know, as I run my war games, it's all about farming materials, farming other crafting materials. Like, you know, you open the supply drop, you get traps, and then I recycle all the traps to get the building materials out of them that I need to craft my traps from my schematics, which is the goal as you get further and further into the game, to figure out what you like and be able to craft it yourself. I mean, so starting here, these are my 130 traps. These are the traps that I you know, this one I use a lot, not so much, not so much, not so much, not so much, a lot. But quartz is tough. Quartz is going to be a hard one. As you get further in the game, you're going to realize you're running out of quartz all the time. So you got to be either have a way of getting quartz or be cheap, and try not to use this trap, the quartz traps. That's this tar pit, right? Tar pit, anti-air, sound wall, floor freeze. Those are your quartz traps, and you gotta be frugal with those. Batteries are tough too, but luckily for me, I don't use batteries too often. I can craft these till the cows come home, and these too. I got lots of that stuff, and they're good traps. Use this a lot. This does a lot of damage. Not a real popular trap with randoms. I know it kind of pisses people off sometimes if I use them, but it is a good trap, and these are the best. These days, you just put a ceiling up over around the base, 1 or 2 tiles out, and load up with these, and they knock them back, and they do a decent amount of damage. The ceiling drop trap. So, and weapons too. You know, if you're gonna weapons, you can see they use quartz. Some of them you need to craft them, or coal. Gunpowder is basically coal, right? If you look at your gunpowder, you can go into your backpack. Over here you go, and you look, so that 1 coal and 4 rough ore to make the gunpowder you need to craft your weapons. So like coal becomes critical as well, you know. And so I mean, I'm not super rich with this stuff. Some of the stuff I got a lot of. Quartz, I got some in here. Coal, I don't have any. I don't keep it in here because I don't want to accidentally use it to craft ammo, because it crafts ammo too, and if you hit square at the wrong time by mistake. So that, like, you can see that too, right? You go to ammo, and oh wait, you gotta be in your backpack. Backpack, go to ammo. So you know, there you go. Certain ammo you craft, you're gonna need coal because you're gonna need gunpowder, and that uses batteries too. That's why energy cells are tough. This is expensive too, though, because you gotta have the coal to craft it. So those are the 2 hard ones, because you need coal, and coal's super hard to farm and very valuable. I think the 2 most valuable things, coal and quartz. Yeah, that's it.